Alrighty, so you are filling in your sky with white, just like you did your grass. And I'm using like the side of my oil pastel. So, once you've got that, it is, as you can see, my white, friends, take a look back here. When you look at this, you can tell the difference between my moon and my regular sky, right? With my sky, I want my big full moon to be like super glowy. Glowy, if that's a word. When we're doing our sky, you are going to want like at least 3 different shades of blue, and I'm going to order them from my lightest to my darkest. Now, I'm starting with my lightest blue. And if we want to have our glowing moon look like it's like really bright and glowing in our sky, is my lightest blue going to be closer to my moon or further away from my moon? Closer. And we talked on the first day about using concentric circles, and I was like, don't worry, we'll talk about that term later. But concentric circles, what that means is they are circles that are going around the same center point, and they are getting larger and larger and larger. Do you guys know what the logo of the store Target looks like? Yes, so it's a Target. Okay, so for the moonlight, we started with white at the center, and then using 3 different shades of blue, which you have in your cup. But a light blue, a medium blue, and then a dark blue. Using concentric circles, which means circles that are around a center point, going out, getting larger. So we talked about the Target logo and how that is a target, so it's technically concentric circles. So the center of our concentric circles is our full moon, and that's going to stay totally white. And as I am adding my layers of color, I'm going to start with my lightest blue, and I am going to stay going in a circle motion. That's what's going to give my night sky that like glow effect. And so I'm starting with the lightest yellow, and I went in a circle motion as I did it. And then I moved out with my medium blue. And even though I'm like hitting the edges of my paper and like my horizon line, I still keep the same curve to give that glowing illusion. And I did the same thing over here. I ran out of space to use like my darkest blue on this side. So then I transitioned to my darkest blue here and still kept that curve going. I then went over with some of my, like I went with my medium blue, and like I went kind of over into the light blue, and then I picked up my light blue again and I went back over. So I just wanted to make sure those were blended really nicely, just like with our grass. And now I'm going to show you the pumpkins. So when I'm doing the pumpkins, I am, of course, I'm going to start with white, just like before when I went over with white for the whole area. And then I'm going to go light to dark. So I'm going to start with yellow, actually. Even though my pumpkins are orange, I'm starting with yellow. And I am going to fill this in kind of like ridge by ridge. It's kind of hard to see at this point because it's just solid white. But as I go, it'll start to take form like this one did. So, going like this with my yellow. Got the bottom edge of my pumpkin. And then I'm going to go in with like a light orange. So this is what would be considered a yellow orange. So it's kind of like a mac and cheese type color, but it's not as dark as like what the true orange is. So I started with yellow. Now I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to go to my dark orange. So I am going to be using this in the areas that I know are going to be darker. So areas that are going to be darker are going to be the actual ridges, because those are going to be in shadow. Okay, back to it. So with my light orange, I am going in the areas that I know are going to be darkest. So that is like the bottom edge of my pumpkin. It is also going to be in the ridges, and that's how I'm going to get like my textured, realistic looking pumpkin. And that's pretty good. I'm going to then go in with like my true orange. This is when it starts to really, really take shape. And so I'm starting at the bottom. So that's where the least amount of light is going to be. And I'm building up. I'm kind of just like really lightly doing like some lines, but I'm not covering like all of my yellow because I do want some of that lightness to show through. But I do want my pumpkin to be like definitely orange, no question about it. So I'm gonna connect these up here, my ridges, so they are like coming down. And if I feel like that's too much orange, I can go back in with my yellow and use that to kind of blend and lighten it. And then I'm actually using a brown because brown is a darker shade of orange. Oftentimes, like it will have like an orange tone to it. So that's probably really out of focus. I apologize. So this is like going to be like my most like shaded areas, and so definitely the bottom edge of the pumpkin. Definitely the ridges. This side of my pumpkin that is like furthest from the moon, I'm actually going to do like the whole way up with that. And so now it's just like really starting to have a realistic look. Going back in with my yellow to blend. And my orange. And I just kind of keep layering up until I feel good about it. That's feeling pretty good to me. Also my stems. So I'm gonna use like brown for my stems. And they're really just kind of like rough and twisty. Like they're not really, there's not a whole lot to the stem. Except I will like kind of go in with black and just kind of give it like a little bit of texture to make it look like really rough, like how they are. And that's kind of the basics with it. Your class did not finish all of their pumpkins. I think a lot of them think that they're finished, but we're gonna build up our value just a little bit more the next time that we're together. So if you get your pumpkins done, then we will still be able to like check in and make sure that you are on the same point as all of them. So yeah, that should be good. Okay, so this is as far as we got. I only have 2 pumpkins done. The majority of the class has their pumpkins all filled in, but we are going to outline with black when we are together next time so that they can just really pop and stand out and look complete. So really just focus on your moonlight and your pumpkins. And I've got your artwork and your little set of oil pastels so that you'll be able to work on it, and then I will see you in a few weeks.